Hey, boo. Hey, welcome back to Intentional Queen Podcast Journey to Restoration with Jineen. I am your host, Coach Jineen. I am a mindset coach and a self love expert, helping ambitious moms to alleviate overwhelming self neglect so they can experience more inner peace, more wholeness, and more confidence, and pretty much to never lose themselves again. And you know how we do that while incorporating some more self love. Hey, boo. Hey, I've missed you guys. It's been a while. I know you like Jineen. Where have you been? I have been busy in these streets, but more so giving myself the self-love language that I wanted to do over the last couple of months. We're in quarter four. Actually, we're ending up quarter four by the time you hear this. And as y'all know, if you are listening back to the previous episodes, I came out strong quarter one, two, and three. And my body said, girl, we getting ready to coast through quarter four. And part of that was celebrating my wins. And celebration to me was slowing down and not being so present on social media and all the other things, but more so taking time to incorporate the self-love, right? But also celebrating my wins that makes me feel good. And part of that was rest. So holidays are right around the corner. And as y'all know, my birthday is right around the corner. And man, it's a big year for me. So I'm like, oh, the numbers when I looked at it, I said, oh, Janine, you getting ready to turn the big 4-0 this year. And I'm actually excited. It's really bittersweet for so many reasons. And that's why I want to go into this, let you know, we're going to call this episode 83. I choose me. How to be done with playing small. And every year I do a wrap up and it's more so to encompass the year, but celebrate our wins. And I just really thought it was fitting because that's really what I've been doing more so to the end of quarter four. And I'm always talking about as well about our vision. And so people who have been rocking with me know I did a vision party last year talking about get in the room. And get in the room was representing how you have to be like a frog, right? And soak up the environment and let it get in your skin and just really help you elevate to a level that is bigger than what you are. But cautionary tale of knowing when you are going to your next level, you will be breaking the mold, which means you may get cut hitting your next level, but it's well worth it because there is beauty in the ashes, right? Like a phoenix. So before I go too intellectual, y'all know how I do. Let's just do some more updates. Happy holidays. I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving. The last episode I put out was with Faith of a Mustard Seed, and it was with my girl, Shayna Hatchell, but she now married. So that's not her new last name. Forgive me, Shayna. I don't know what your new last name is, but I know you married in the streets. Congratulations. But we did that with Shayna, and she was talking about her life and how self-love saved her and the things that she endured that made her catapult her career as a diabetes educator, also a well-known author of a book talk about Shia Learns, where she helps Black and people of color learn about diabetes, juvenile diabetes. And it's actually that book, I think, is in the JDF, which is the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, and her book goes out. So all I'm saying is these are all positive things, but her episode was so important for having the faith of a mustard seed because she talks about her candid story of wanting to kill herself, but it was through that lesson that she ended up having just a little bit of faith of mustard seed, and look how far she's come now. So I hope that story was inspiration for somebody, because now I want to jump into manifestation. I went back and I started really reviewing my accolades. I always do a year review of the podcast and things that I've done because I'm all about self-development. If people haven't noticed that, especially if you're new here, self-development is important, but I also want you to know that you are good enough where you are today and you're good enough tomorrow. But it's always things that we can tune and fine tune and make a little bit better. But at the end of the day, don't change fully who you are. That's why I say you need to learn how to choose you a little bit more, because nobody can do it like you do it. Only you could be you. And it's okay to be you. So back with manifestation, I decided last year that my word of the year for 2023 would be balance. And I really wanted to level it out in all areas of my life. And as you can see, I'm walking it out in quarter four. I did it throughout quarter one, two, and three, but quarter four was where I really got to sit in and bask in all the things that I did. And I wanted to manifest for 2023 a soft woman season. And I Choose Me is the name of the book that's coming up. And thank you to all my email subscribers because I asked y'all to vote on the subtitle and y'all definitely voted out for your girl. So best believe y'all be seeing that and you'll be seeing the book cover. And we're launching soon for 2024. The book is done. Things are complete. And Jineen is getting it all the way done. You heard? If you want to know more about my book, about the things that's coming up, definitely get into my email list. You can do that by going to intentionalqueenjourney.com/ready to thrive, and you will be able to join the community today. And I give you weekly emails and just checking in with you, but I'll also be giving you updates on the book. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the lessons I learned from 2023 with it being balance and soft woman season. I told you I wanted to make the vision plain and write it out. That was another thing that I had manifested. And so every year around this time, I really sit down and put my goals to work. But one thing I think I'm going to do this year, from being around some other dope women, because I've definitely been to a lot of women retreats and empowerment business retreats, I should say, with women doing big things and getting in rooms. And I learned that instead of just having my goals written out on my vision board like I normally do, maybe I need to put them into quarters, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, and then break them down a little bit more. So then that way you know specifically what you're doing so you don't overwhelm yourself, right? So that's a little pearl I'm gonna add into my mix for 2024, but making a vision and make it plain. So my new word, just so y'all know, for 2024 is expansion. I prayed over that word, and I think that is the word for me. Expansion. Expansion. That feels so good to me. Expansion. And so, with that being said, another tip that I really learned for 2023 was networking and building community and how important it is and to stop playing small. I was just having a coaching session with one of my clients, and we were just talking about some of her people pleasing tendencies. Why? Because I've been a people pleaser. Not no more. We're done with that. What I tell y'all, backpack. You put your own book bag on, right? Like Dora the Explorer. We're not doing that out here. But when you have people pleasing tendencies or a little touch of imposter syndrome, you tend to play it small, you play it safe, you play it neutral because you don't want to rally up any problems. So in essence, you're pleasing others to keep them happy. But are you really at the end of the day putting yourself into a detrimental space because you are no longer happy within? Because you are always choosing other people. You see how the title is I Choose Me? That's why the name of my book is called that, because I go deeper on an intentional guide on how to never lose yourself again, like really going deep into it. And it encompasses my personal stories and everything. So it's so good. Moving on to the next thing that I've learned, sexy talk. That was another thing I manifested that I really thought was so important. There is so much power in how you talk to yourself, because how you talk to yourself is how you exude to others. And I catch myself as a mother really understanding the narrative I'm telling myself. So that way I'm not showing up in that regard with my child as I'm parenting. But I also want you to understand, even in your soft woman season, and this is something I also coach on, when you are good, your kids are good. And so when I really took the opportunity to talk to myself sexy, give myself affirmations, whatever that is, if you really want to know, I did talk about this on my last two Bloom master classes. You can go to podcast episode number 73 and you can listen to me saying these affirmations. I tell everybody you need to listen to them 3 times a day, at least for 21 days. A learned behavior takes 21 days to really take precedence. And if you continue to do that and just keep changing the positive seeds in your mind, you will end up changing that negative dialect that you're having with yourself and end up flipping it into a positive, which then in turns give you grace. So then you can have grace in that space. That leads back to the sexy talk. That leads back to you're no longer playing it small or playing it safe. That goes back to now you know your vision and you're making it plain and you're doing what you need to do, which then goes back to having faith of a mustard seed. You see how I just put that into an onion approach for you? That's very important. I also have an ebook on that as well, which is called the Unleashing Confidence Playbook. And it's actually, I dropped it down to $6.99 for the holiday pricing. It also has a 30-day prompt calendar, which means I give you a prompt every day to put in your journal for you to journal on. But I give you my top self-beliefs, secrets. And I want to say there's 9 in there. And I'm going to have more when I do my self-publishing book, because that's going to be a whole thing. But Back to the story, y'all. Unleashing Confidence Playbook is available that can help you with the sexy talk affirmations. Let's talk about the next thing I learned, y'all. Run my race. You got to let go of comparison spirit. Sometimes you want to keep up with what other people are doing, especially when you start networking. You're like, man, I got to do this, I got to do that. But guess what? Guess what? Can't nobody do it like you. And so you have to be able to find the balance of what inspiration can I take and how can I pivot and make it applicable to me that feels good to me. And that was so good for me for running my own race because it helped me to narrow down my new coaching program that's doing things. So if that is something that you're interested in, you can also go to intentionalqueenjourney.com and you can do that. Also at coachjanine.com, it's available too, which will take you directly to that page. And I talk about my new coaching thing, so I'm so excited. But you have to have gratitude for yourself in that space. And I really took a step back and I started saying, man, what am I like grateful for? And it's just been a year that's been like checked off my list, if that makes sense. I kind of had like a bucket list, but it was just relishing in like ending some things that really have been going on for a lot, especially in my personal life. There was like a few battles I was enduring that were like taking a toll. Like it was a continuum, it was rolling over year to year to year. And I was like, man, God, when will this be over? And so 2023 was a lot of closure for me. And I'm so grateful for those closures. You know what I mean? It's closure. Because now, like I said, expansion 2024 is a new decade for me in life, but it's also me starting a new chapter. Hence the book, I Choose Me. That's like me birthing into my soft woman season. Like all these things lead from the manifestation that started back, like I said, making my vision and making it plain. And if you go back and listen to my episodes, you'll hear me speaking it to life. And that's why I want to help someone to understand it is power in your words. It is power in your thoughts, because your thoughts lead to feelings that lead to actions that lead to results. So when you know what you're thinking about, you got to get to self-belief. And that's why it's first, because then it will lead to unleashing your confidence, hence of the playbook. So how did I get there? By self-believing, by showing up with courageousness and being vulnerable, and then continuously showing up. And next thing you know, I got more confident in spaces that I would never be doing. So good. I hope y'all are tracking with me and understanding what I'm giving y'all this week. 2024 is around the corner. Have you thought about your intentional goals or what you're doing? Have you really like sat down? Did you pull your notebook out and really like list out? And more than anything, you're not always thinking about what you need to do forward. I was coaching my client. Are you celebrating your wins? One of my clients did some big things just in 1 month, and she was nervous by the mid-month if she would make her goal by the end of the month, and she superseded that goal, and we clapped for that. And I told her, don't rush to your next goal, sit in that and celebrate that. So let's talk about the goals that you set for 2023. Maybe you didn't get them all completed. That's all good. It could be rolled over. Maybe you started them, but they still need some more tweaking. Because sometimes I just tell people just go on and fail already. Okay. And so my intentional goals was to increase my network and build community. Man, this year I superseded that goal. I also had multiple coaches this year. I had a book coach. That's why I'm able to self-publish a book this year. That's that's awesome. I was very nervous about speaking my truth and my stories, but shining my light was so important to me that I recognize that people going to talk about you whether you're doing good or whether you're doing bad. So are you not going to show up for the one? That's a question that I want somebody who's playing it small to think about. Do you not show up because they want to see you fail? Well, they're going to think it anyway. So you're not going to show up for the people who need you? That's a question I want you to sit with. My book, I Choose Me. I'm excited about it. I mean, it took time to write it. The reason why I put this goal here is because I had went through a lot of rehab for myself last year. And I was in a questionable state of, okay, God, you want me to write this book? I don't got time. And then, like I said, I had to go through rehab for 6 months, talking about a health rehab, not like drug abuse or anything like that. But I got injured. And so I had to be rehab for like 6 months. And I was like, God, what? He said, "You got time today." That's what he said, "You got time today." So people said, "Well, when the hell did you write the book, Janine?" Well, I wrote the book while I was rehabbing, and I don't look like what I've been through. And it was a blessing to say the least, but bittersweet when you go back and replay your life. When you replay your life, and I have a lot to be blessed for and grateful for in these last 3 decades. My new coaching program, Never Losing Yourself Again, was so good because I've been able to help multiple women find clarity, to stop being overwhelmed, to boost their confidence, to show up. I've had married women come in my program. I've had single women come in my program. When I launched the group program, it was more single towards single moms because that's what I function as today, but that's not what I'm going to be forever. You know what I mean? But that's what I function as today. So I speak from my truth at this point. But I tell people, don't stay stuck at where you at. You need to think on the level of where you're going. So that way you understand that, like I said, you have vision, you have foresight, you're going far. And when you can inspire for impact, that's what it's all about. Quality time with myself has been something I've been doing more towards the end of quarter 4, just really basking and celebrating my wins, taking it all in, doing things I want to do around my house, going to my son's school and being able to show him support and love, and just really not putting everybody else before myself because it was to my detriment in the past. That's how I led to burnout. So now I'm more proactive of when I feel the tune up coming for myself, that I'm like, girl, you're doing a little too much. You need to go on and get a tune up. And so for me, that's what I did the last couple months, because people say, oh, you kind of slacked off a little bit. No, it was intentional. Because at the end of the day, when I know I've served with value and I've showed up to the streets got a lot to look at that I've given out. And so if they looking for me, they got things they could do. And that's what I told myself. If you looking for me, it's things out there that you could use, but it's okay to choose yourself. That sometimes you have to refill yourself. You have to refuel yourself. Because if you're running on depleted, you're not showing up as the best version of yourself. Hence why, once again, I choose me. How to be done playing it small. And when you're inspiring for impact, man, I went back and looked at these downloads, y'all. We know the podcast turned 3 years. And I said, man, the podcast is 3, but dang, can y'all believe this? I went and looked at the numbers and I can say we are over 15,000 downloads. And that's not even including my YouTube. And wow, I'm grateful. And I couldn't do it without the community, the Intentional Queen Tribe, because without you, there would be no community. And I really focus hard when I inspire for impact is because I want nobody to suffer in silence. I want people to find their voice. I want people to shine their light. I want people to be done playing small. I want people to be done shrinking. I want to see people winning. I want to see moms doing it. I want to promote ambitious women, moms, whomever, for supporting them, and it can be done. But there is a little bit of finding balance, and balance doesn't mean 50-50. Sometimes balance is 80-20 at a time, and then you have to go and do 40-60, but just trying to make it more manageable instead of trying to carry the weight all by yourself, helping other people learn how to take care of themselves, and not being such a enabler, because people pleasers become enablers. And what I mean by that is, if you continuously always are pleasing people, you're teaching them that it's okay to treat you as such. And then you get mad or you get bitter when they continuously come to you and need things, even when you're in your depleted version. Well, they come to you because you always show up and serve. So understanding that there will be times where you have to slow your roll, but also giving them the tools that they can need, that they can use, and strategies they can use so they can do it themselves. Because the goal is, we're trying to promote interdependence or independence, not codependent. It's a total difference. Now, we talked about all my lessons. Let's jump into the wrap up, okay? My word for 2024 is expansion. I told you enough about my book. I'm excited about it. It's launching in 2024. I'm so excited about it. 2023, my word was balance. I wanted to be my soft woman season. Guess what? Episode 61. Every year I write what's the top episode of the year. And this year, episode 61, Shine Bright Like a Diamond, How to Embrace Your Journey, was the top rated episode of the year. Whoop, whoop. And I want you to really listen to that with your notebook because I definitely dig deep in some things that's going to bless your heart. In 2022, my word was evolve. We were evolving and not expanding. We was evolving of going through our metamorphosis of going from Bruce Caterpillar to cocoon to flying free like a butterfly, like my logo, right? With the 8 in the middle, which stands for journey. And 2021 was pivot. And 2021, I was trying to pivot towards peace. And I wanted a more that's why I say my tagline is level up your intentional queen to a better you. But when I say I help ambitious moms alleviate overwhelm, but it's by experiencing more inner peace. It's that mindfulness. I want to activate that mindfulness in you. So really the mindfulness came in 2021. And it's nothing like a level of peace. And when you can grab your piece of peace and not let people try to steal your piece of peace, when you can get to a place where you can respond versus react, because they will try you, you'll next thing you know, you like, man, I'm a whole new person. I'm going to shout out Dr. Shalonda Atkins on this one because she was a top contender. She definitely, I would say, was top 2 episode of the year. So that is one you would want to check out. It's called Becoming Unstuck. You can listen to it on my YouTube channel, but you can also listen to it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you stream podcasts. So top 1. Shine Bright Like a Diamond was so good that I'm going to drop it right here in this episode because you don't even need to go look for it. And I want to wish you guys a happy holidays. Make sure you subscribe to wherever you listen and get into that email newsletter so you can go ahead and get me hooking you up on how to thrive, because I know you're ready to thrive and bloom as we are continuing on this season. And I'll run through real quick before I drop you into the episode. So we're manifesting. Have the faith of a mustard seed, number 1. Number 2, make your vision plain and you need to write it out. Number 3, continue to network. Stop playing neutral and small. Number 4, that sexy talk, affirmations. And I do have the ebook, and I also have episode 73 where you can just dial in and listen. The next one is run my race and have a space of gratitude. Okay. The next thing is just talking about your intentional goals. What do you have for 2023 and what you doing for 2024? And maybe take a little page out of my book for next year, which is write it out per quarter and organize it up a little bit sexier. And without further ado, listen to Shine Bright Like a Diamond. I'll see you guys in the new year and level up your intentional queen to a better you.